When you think about protein, what comes to mind? For many people over 50, it's the fear that protein might harm their kidneys, that one wrong bite of meat or cheese could push creatinine levels even higher and send them spiraling into dialysis. But here's the truth most people never hear. Not all proteins are villains. Some are gentle allies, quietly nourishing your body, protecting your kidneys, and even helping lower creatinine. I've seen patients who gave up their favorite meals, living in fear, when in reality the right foods could have been their shield. That's why today's journey matters so much. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to channel Vital Science for Seniors. Together, we'll explore 10 powerful protein sources that can protect kidney health, along with a simple 3-day meal plan to bring them into your life with ease. By the end, you'll see food not as danger, but as healing. When I first mention cottage cheese to my patients, they often laugh. Really, doctor? That bland stuff? But then I explain why this humble food is a quiet champion for kidney health. Unlike most cheeses, which are loaded with phosphorus and sodium, cottage cheese can be gentle, especially if you choose the low-sodium kind. It gives you high-quality protein that your body can use to maintain muscle strength without overburdening the kidneys. I remember one patient, Carol, a retired teacher, who had stopped eating cheese completely because she feared it would ruin her kidneys. When we introduced farmer's cheese, a drier, naturally lower sodium version, she was delighted. Her strength improved, her labs stabilized, and she felt like she'd gotten a piece of joy back. You can even make it yourself at home. Just warm milk, stir in lemon juice, let the curds form, and strain. No chemicals, no additives. Add a handful of berries or peaches, and suddenly you've got a creamy, sweet dish that supports your kidneys instead of stressing them. In this way, cottage cheese becomes more than food. It's a small act of kindness to your body, a reminder that healing doesn't have to be tasteless. There's something almost poetic about fish. Creatures that swim effortlessly through water, carrying with them oils that can soothe inflammation inside our own bodies. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and these healthy fats act like a gentle balm for inflamed kidneys. In fact, a study in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology showed that omega-3s can reduce the progression of kidney disease by calming the storm of inflammation that often damages delicate kidney tissue. I think of George, a former truck driver in his 60s. He was skeptical when I suggested swapping out his weekly steak for grilled salmon twice a week. But after 3 months, his blood pressure steadied, his energy rose, and he even bragged about perfecting his lemon dill salmon recipe. The key is choosing wisely. Go for fresh or canned fish packed in water, not oil or brine, and watch sodium levels carefully. 2 modest portions a week, about the size of a deck of cards, are enough to deliver the benefits. Try mixing canned tuna with unsalted Greek yogurt, lemon juice, and fresh herbs for a light, kidney-friendly lunch. It's delicious, satisfying, and most importantly, protective. Eggs have always been a symbol of life and nourishment, but for someone with kidney concerns, the yolk can carry too much phosphorus. That's where egg whites step into the spotlight. They're like the pure essence of protein, clean, light, and easy on the kidneys. Imagine fueling your muscles without adding extra waste for your kidneys to filter. That's exactly what egg whites offer. I recall Maria, a 72-year-old grandmother who loved her morning scrambled eggs but feared they were making her high creatinine worse. We swapped her 2 whole eggs for 4 egg whites, sautéed with peppers and onions. Within weeks, she felt more energetic, her digestion improved, and she didn't miss the yolks at all. The best part is how versatile they are. You can scramble them, fold them into an omelet, or even blend pasteurized liquid egg whites into a smoothie for extra protein. For most, 2 egg whites a day is plenty, giving you the strength to walk, garden, or play with grandkids without stressing fragile kidneys. It's a simple shift that transforms breakfast from a guilty pleasure into a healing ritual, one forkful at a time. For many families, chicken has always been a staple. Roasted on Sundays, grilled in the summertime, simmered in comforting soups. But when kidney health becomes a concern, not all chicken is equal. The skin, marinades, and processed forms like nuggets or deli slices can sneak in loads of sodium and phosphorus. By stripping it down to its simplest form, skinless, plain chicken breast, you uncover a lean, kidney-friendly source of protein that nourishes without overburdening. One of my patients, Thomas, a 68-year-old who had struggled with fatigue, discovered this firsthand. We adjusted his diet to include 3 ounces of grilled chicken breast with lunch or dinner. Within a month, he noticed he could mow his lawn again without needing to rest halfway through. The key is portion and preparation. Keep it to 4 to 6 ounces a day, season with herbs and lemon instead of salt, and avoid fried or breaded versions. A kidney-friendly chicken salad made with low-fat yogurt, celery, and a squeeze of lemon can be refreshing and light. In this simple cut of poultry lies a message. Sometimes health doesn't require exotic foods, but rather a return to the basics, prepared with care. Sea bass may not be the first fish that comes to mind, but it carries a quiet elegance, both on the plate and within the body. Unlike some other seafood, it offers high-quality protein while being lower in phosphorus, making it a gentler choice for kidneys already working overtime. It also contains omega-3 fatty acids, which help ease inflammation, much like fatty fish such as salmon. I once worked with Helen, a retired nurse who adored seafood but had been told to avoid it all. When she reintroduced small portions of sea bass, pan-seared with olive oil, garlic, and lemon, her meals became joyful again, and her lab results held steady. That's the magic of choosing wisely. 2 to 3 ounces per meal is enough, and avoiding salty marinades or heavy sauces keeps it kidney-friendly. Serve it alongside roasted peppers and a simple steamed vegetable like cabbage, and you've got a meal that tastes like dining out while still protecting kidney function. Sea bass reminds us that eating well for kidney health isn't about deprivation, but about finding the right foods that both satisfy the palate and respect the body's limits. When people think of protein, grains rarely make the list. Yet quinoa is an exception, a tiny seed that carries the full spectrum of essential amino acids, making it a complete plant-based protein. For someone managing high creatinine or searching for a safe diet for kidney disease, quinoa is a gentle ally. Unlike beans or some whole grains, its phosphorus and potassium levels are more modest, especially if you prepare it correctly. Rinsing quinoa thoroughly before cooking, and even boiling it in excess water then draining, helps reduce minerals that could be harder on the kidneys. I remember David, a 70-year-old who had always been a meat and potatoes man. When his kidney numbers worsened, he reluctantly agreed to try quinoa as a rice substitute. To his surprise, he enjoyed its nutty flavor and light texture. Soon his lunches featured quinoa tossed with cucumbers, olive oil, and parsley, a refreshing salad that kept him full without burdening his kidneys. Half a cup of cooked quinoa can be enough to give energy, strength, and variety to a meal plan. Sometimes the smallest seeds carry the biggest promise for healing, proving that plant-based proteins can be both satisfying and safe. There's something comforting about a cool, creamy bowl of yogurt, but not all dairy is kind to the kidneys. Greek yogurt, however, stands apart. It's strained, which means it packs more high-quality protein in a smaller serving, while also delivering probiotics that soothe the gut and reduce toxins that otherwise build up in the blood when kidneys struggle. I often tell my patients that a healthy gut and healthy kidneys are partners in the same dance. Take Anne, a 66-year-old who had battled bloating and high creatinine levels. When she began eating half a cup of plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt each morning, topped with a few fresh berries, not only did her digestion improve, but her energy felt steadier throughout the day. The trick is portion control. Too much yogurt can add unnecessary phosphorus and potassium, so stick to half a cup daily. Choose varieties without added sugar, artificial flavors, or hidden salts. Some people even make their own at home by straining regular yogurt overnight, a simple act that turns an ordinary food into a therapeutic one. In that small bowl lies both nourishment and protection, reminding us that healing often begins with the simplest daily habits. Nuts are often praised as heart-healthy, but many varieties come loaded with phosphorus and potassium, which can silently stress fragile kidneys. Macadamia nuts are the rare exception, carrying far lower levels of those minerals while still delivering healthy fats, fiber, and key nutrients like magnesium and copper. They're rich, buttery, and satisfying, perfect for a mindful snack. I remember Richard, 74, who loved his nightly bowl of mixed nuts but worried after his doctor warned him about rising creatinine. We swapped his cashews and almonds for a small handful of raw macadamias each evening. Not only did his labs stabilize, but he admitted he felt less bloated and more energized. The portion is key, about 1 ounce or a small handful. Choose unsalted and unflavored nuts, steering clear of the sugary, honey-roasted varieties that sneak in sodium or additives. Macadamias can be sprinkled over a salad, blended into a smoothie, or even turned into nut butter at home for spreading on low-potassium toast. They prove that enjoying food doesn't have to mean sacrifice. Sometimes it's simply about choosing the right version of an old favorite, one that satisfies cravings while quietly protecting the kidneys for the long journey ahead. Tiny but mighty, chia and flax seeds may look unassuming, yet they're packed with fiber, antioxidants, and plant-based omega-3s that calm inflammation and support circulation. For those with kidney concerns, these seeds bring benefits without burdening the body with excess sodium, potassium, or phosphorus. There is a small nuance, though. Chia seeds are high in oxalates, which can contribute to kidney stones for some, so pairing them with calcium-rich foods like low-fat cottage cheese or Greek yogurt helps balance that risk. Flax seeds, on the other hand, need to be ground before eating. Otherwise, they pass right through the digestive tract unused. I think of Maria, 72, who began adding a spoonful of ground flax to her morning oatmeal. Within weeks, her digestion improved, and her cholesterol nudged downward, a bonus gift for her heart and kidneys alike. A portion of 1 to 2 tablespoons daily is enough, stirred into smoothies, baked into muffins, or whisked into yogurt. Keep them stored in the fridge or freezer to preserve their delicate oils. These tiny seeds whisper a powerful truth. Healing often comes in small, steady doses, not grand gestures, building resilience with every quiet bite. For years, many kidney patients were told to avoid beans and lentils altogether, fearing their potassium and phosphorus content. But science has evolved, and now we know that plant-based phosphorus isn't absorbed as readily as that from animal foods. This means beans and lentils can still play a safe, nourishing role, especially in moderate portions. Half a cup brings 6 to 8 grams of protein, along with fiber that steadies blood sugar and eases digestion. I recall Susan, 68, who missed her lentil soups after her diagnosis. With guidance, she began making red lentil stew once a week, carefully portioned and paired with low-potassium vegetables. Not only did her cravings for meat lessen, but her energy returned and her labs held stable. The best choices tend to be red and green lentils, as they are generally lower in potassium and phosphorus compared to others. Start small, watch how your body responds, and consult with your care team if your kidney disease is advanced. A bowl of lentil soup or a bean salad can feel like comfort food, yet it carries the power of plant-based healing, gentle, affordable, and deeply satisfying. For many, beans restore not just nutrition, but the joy of eating again. Food choices become habits, and habits become healing. To show how these proteins fit into real life, let's imagine 3 simple days of meals. On the first day, breakfast could be a berry smoothie blended with almond milk, a spoonful of chia, and a scoop of safe protein powder. Lunch might be a grilled chicken wrap with crisp lettuce and cucumber, while dinner could feature baked salmon with garlic and dill, served alongside white rice and steamed broccoli. Day 2 begins with warm oatmeal sprinkled with apples and a few walnuts, followed by a tuna salad sandwich at lunch, and baked chicken with roasted asparagus for dinner. On day 3, scrambled egg whites with peppers and onions make for a colorful breakfast, while a black bean and corn salad brings plant-based protein to lunch. Dinner might be a gentle chicken stir-fry over white rice, with snow peas and carrots for crunch. Each day balances lean protein, low potassium vegetables, and careful portions. The meals aren't exotic or complicated. They're nourishing, familiar, and kind to the kidneys. When patients follow a plan like this, they often discover that food becomes not just medicine, but joy once again. Every meal is a chance to protect your kidneys, to lower creatinine, and to choose life over limitation. The right proteins, gentle, balanced, and thoughtfully prepared, become allies rather than enemies. Remember, portion size matters, preparation matters, and your consistency matters most of all. I've watched men and women in their 70s and 80s reclaim energy and independence simply by adjusting what was on their plate. You are never too old and it is never too late. Nourishment is hope in action, and your kidneys deserve that gift. I'm Dr. Brian. Thank you for sharing this journey with me today.